Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Science Archive, where we discuss admissions and university and just how to pick your major in this specific video. So, why is this important? Because every year university students switch their majors, and what ends up happening is you take so many courses, sure, that builds up to your faculty, those credits, but then you would only get like one major 60 credits and you need 120 credits, but you've already spent the rest of the 60 credits on taking classes where you don't even like, so you didn't make up another major, so you kind of didn't use your time as well as you wished, taking courses for university, spending all that money, and then not getting as much as you would like out of it. So here are some of the steps that I would say to consider when you choose what you want to study in university. The first one, by what I mean by admissionability, it is first you want to apply to a faculty that you have a good chance of getting in, because if you do otherwise, what ends up happening is I know some people who spend like $500 to $800 in applying for university, and that's not a fun thing. And one of their errors was they got to pick a first and second choice, but you also got to choose your major and your minor in those choices. They said the first choice that I put was Bachelor of Science, major in chemistry, minor in biology, and then for their second choice they put Faculty of Science, major in like physics and minor in biology. Now the error is when you do your admissions, they evaluate your marks compared to everyone that applied into that same faculty, not based on the major. What that means for you is, depending on what school you're applying to, your first and second choice should be in different faculties. So don't choose two Faculty of Sciences, even though they're different majors, because your mark is compared to everyone applying to the faculty. You're just wasting money if you apply by your major. Besides, your major can be declared at any time. So, yeah. Also, they ended up not studying science at the university they thought. So, what that means for you is apply to somewhere where you think you have a good chance of getting into a program you think you have a good chance of getting in, so you don't waste a couple of $100. All right, the second part to consider is you need to apply to a program that is practical. Of course, everyone thinks about whether this major has a job or not, and it's a controversial thought because who knows what you can do with a Bachelor of Arts major in, like, I don't know, economics. Obviously, there are jobs, or if I look at my UBC book right now, like major in modern European studies, jobs, ? But that's not what I'm really attacking at. One of my tips for you is, I know for specifically Bachelor of Arts, there's so many majors you can choose from, and that's based on what I've seen. The most amount of students changing their majors every year are in Bachelor of Arts, because it's all very similar, the classes, and you realize that you like everything. So you end up switching every year. And as for science, it's more distinct, so there's less of that. So what I found is, this is McEwen University's handbook. They're a smaller university, so they can't offer as much programs. But what they did was, using this, they boiled down the most essential Bachelor of Arts majors. So instead of what you see in your UBC handbook, things like Health and Society minor, Interdisciplinary Studies, Informatics minor, these are some of the biggest majors that people tend to study in university, and that's why they put these few as their choices for Bachelor of Arts. What you realize is all of these are categorized in social sciences, and social science is practically one of the best majors you can pick in a Bachelor of Arts, because when you go find a job, most of them are working with people, and people, they want something working with social science, and these are all social science compared to what I read in here, such as romance studies and museum studies. So yeah, I think this is a very good list to think about. As for science, I feel like people applying to science already know what they want because all of these subjects are very distinct. But that brings us to our third point, which is program suitability. You might look at these and then you think you know what you want to study. It's pretty obvious. But if you look at some other handbooks, like UBC in here, Bachelor of Science, there's still a lot of choices like geophysics, geology, and neuroscience, microbiology and immunology, oceanography. There's a lot of options. So what you need to think is, what are you most suitable for? And how do you think about that? You want to think about doing some real research. What that means is you might be interested in oceanology. You think it sounds cool. You want to learn about whales and sharks and cool fish. So what you can do is you should go to your university library. It's public access, and what they have is actually shelves of books devoted to a specific major, a specific subject. So I found a lot of interesting things in there, which gave me some insight as to what it's like to study English major in university. So by getting your research early, you can know what you want to study sooner, and that can help you cut down the extra courses that you take and end up not liking. And by personal readiness, I mean it's making the research, and of course you want to think about what you are doing right now. You want to study physics, but you don't have physics right now, nor calculus. You want to study, so something like that. If you don't have the things that you need to study in that program right now, then you need to start hitting that up and getting ready. Because I'll tell you this one insider tip. It is easier to take a class in high school than it is in university compared, like if you want to take calculus in high school and in university, I would recommend you take it in high school first, because in university there's less guidance, there's less support, and there's less instruction. You have to study it more by yourself than with the guidance of a teacher. So I would recommend that you get ready for what you want to study while you're still in high school. Now the next part, with this is more for high school students, of course, is apply early. For some schools like UBC, they don't assess the admissions until like December. But for other schools, smaller schools, like University of Alberta, they do it on a rolling basis, which means if you apply today, you might get an offer 2 weeks later and not after a set certain date. So what that means is if you are not that competitive, by applying earlier, they will have more spots, wherefore you can have a higher chance of getting into. So it's like a supply and demand. There's always that demand, but if you apply while there's a big supply of spots, you have a higher chance of getting in. Now the very last point that I want to talk about is, wait a moment, did you apply for the right school? Wow, this is, okay, there we go. Did you pick the right school? You picked majors, you picked faculties, but you gotta pick the right school as well. So some schools, small schools, you can get scholarships up to like $2,000 for just being an A student. That is a pretty intriguing factor to consider, and talking about picking schools will be in my next video, so stay tuned, hit like, subscribe, and share with your friends.